of watery soup and a slice of bread, and there is no contact with the outside world. This relentless routine breaks even the most hardened criminals. Segment 2. ADX Florence, United States. The Alcatraz of the Rockies, ADX Florence in Colorado, is the highest security prison in the United States. This fortress houses some of the most infamous names, including the Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, 9/11 conspirator Zacarias Moussaoui, and drug lord El Chapo. It's designed for total isolation, ensuring prisoners are completely cut off from one another. Horrors of solitary confinement. Inmates at ADX spend 23 hours a day in solitary confinement. Their cells are soundproof, and meals are slid through small slots. The isolation causes severe psychological distress, depression, hallucinations, and sometimes suicide. The prison's mission isn't just confinement, it's total sensory deprivation. Segment 3. Lassabanita Prison, Venezuela. In Venezuela's Lassabanita prison, chaos reigns supreme. Designed for 15,000 inmates, it holds over 25,000, creating a toxic mix of overcrowding, disease, and violence. Guards have little control, and gangs rule with an iron fist. Survival here often depends on your connections or your ability to pay for protection. A living hell. One of the deadliest riots in prison history happened here in 1994, leaving over 100 inmates dead. Disease runs rampant due to unsanitary conditions, and medical care is non-existent. For many, entering Lassabanita is a death sentence. Segment 4. Gitarama Prison, Rwanda. Built for just 500 inmates, Gitarama Prison in Rwanda holds over 6,000. Prisoners are forced to stand shoulder to shoulder in the scorching sun, with no room to sit or lie down. The lack of food and clean water leads to starvation and disease. Unimaginable suffering. The overcrowding has led to horrific consequences. Inmates fight over scraps of food and resort to desperate measures for survival. Medical treatment is rare, and untreated injuries often lead to death. Segment 5. Camp 22, North Korea. Camp 22 is one of North Korea's notorious labor camps, where political prisoners and their families are detained indefinitely. Inmates are forced to perform back-breaking labor under brutal conditions. Reports of executions, torture, and starvation are widespread. A prisoner's testimony. Former prisoners who escaped describe horrific abuses. Families are punished for the crimes of a single relative, and children grow up knowing nothing but the camp. Escape is nearly impossible, and many prisoners never see freedom again. Segment 6. Petak Island Prison, Russia. Situated on a remote island in Russia's White Lake, Petak Island Prison is one of the coldest and most isolating facilities on Earth. Inmates here are cut off from the mainland and endure harsh winters in tiny cells. Life in isolation. Prisoners are allowed just 2 visits a year from family members. Cells are barely heated, and inmates often suffer from frostbite. The isolation and extreme conditions make Petak Island a true frozen hell. Segment 7. Diyarbakir Prison, Turkey. Built during Turkey's military regime, Diyarbakir Prison is infamous for its human rights abuses. Prisoners are subjected to severe beatings, psychological torture, and even death. Political prisoners make up a significant portion of the population. Political repression and violence. Detainees often face brutal interrogations and inhumane conditions. Hunger strikes and riots have erupted multiple times, but little has changed. The prison's dark history remains a scar on Turkey's justice system. Segment 8. Kistan Prison, Iran. Known for housing political prisoners and dissidents, Kistan Prison in Iran is a symbol of repression. Inmates are subjected to solitary confinement, torture, and lack of due process. Tales of torture. Survivors recount beatings, mock executions, and psychological abuse. Basic necessities like food and medical care are scarce, and prisoners often go on hunger strikes to protest their treatment. Segment 9. Bang Kuang Prison, Thailand. Nicknamed the Bangkok Hilton, Bang Kuang Prison is anything but luxurious. Most inmates are on death row or serving life sentences, and the conditions are brutal. Overcrowding and poor sanitation lead to disease and suffering. Harsh realities. Prisoners are often shackled, and the lack of proper health care results in many preventable deaths. The mental toll of knowing your execution could come any day is immense, leaving many inmates in despair. Segment 10. Rikers Island, United States. Located in New York City, Rikers Island is notorious for its violence and corruption. Inmates and guards alike have reported severe beatings, sexual abuse, and inhumane living conditions. A system in crisis. Rikers has become a symbol of the failures of the U.S. justice system. Despite numerous reform efforts, the violence and chaos continue to plague this facility, making it one of the most dangerous prisons in the country. These prisons represent the darkest aspects of human society. While they're meant to punish and rehabilitate, many instead become places of unimaginable suffering. What does this say about us as a global community? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining us on this eye-opening journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories that uncover the hidden truths of our world. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.